The next was, just to, I put it twice on there, didn't want to forget.
Yeah.
The upcoming commission meetings, you were gonna move.
Yeah, I have a scheduling conflict, and Commissioner Matthews has a scheduling conflict the next couple of months, so I'd like to ask the commission if we could go ahead and get a motion to have one meeting in September, that to be held on September the 26th, and one meeting in October the 16th at 6 p.m. Is there a motion?
I move.
I second, and I may not be here on the 26th, I think I already have vacation, but I can call in.
Okay, sorry about that. Is that an all yes vote?
It should read can we amend that motion? It should be October the 17th. 17th,
Oh,
not
I'm
the
sorry,
16th.
I'm sorry. That's my wedding day.
Amendment noted.
I should remember that.
Huh?
You motion to read it? Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, is that all yes?
Yes.
With the October 17th date noted.
Sorry about that, okay. The next part of the agenda is unfinished business or possible action is adopting a new ordinance and intergovernmental agreement by Guy Brown.
Like Mary said, two reasons on here tonight. I'll go over the intergovernmental agreement first. Town of Hamlin has asked the county to take over their floodplain management. And you have to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the town and the county. And I went to the meeting on August the 5th, I believe, and their council approved their side of the agreement. And now the commission needs, if you choose for the county to take over their floodplain management, then you will have to approve your side of the agreement. As far as, of course, I'll be enforcing it. I have no problem issuing their permits and enforcing their ordinance. And also, the county has already agreed with West Hamlin. I don't know what year that was, but the state NFIP director wants an updated agreement. So on August 5th, I was at West Hamlin's meeting also. Their council approved their side of the new intergovernmental agreement. So the commission needs to approve one for West. If you choose to continue West Hamlin's floodplain management, you need to approve your side of the agreement.
You want to go ahead and read that stuff?
We're just loaning him out.
Okay, let's move on.
So we're just loaning him out. We
Yeah.
kinda, I mean.
Well, the fee will be, there's no salary per se for me to do their ordinance, to do their floodplain management. The county keeps all fees for building permits. That will be the fee, will be just what we did on building permits.
Because we don't charge West Hamlin anything.
No, we keep, any building permit issued, the county keeps the fee.
Okay, let me go ahead. I'll ask the commission for a motion to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the town of Hamlin to provide floodplain management.
I move.
I'll say.
Is that an all yes?
Yes.
All right, and I also would entertain a motion to continue the agreement with the town of West Hamlin to maintain flood management.
I move.
I'll say.
Is that all yes? All right, go ahead, John.
And these-
Hold on a second,
Can
just
I
a second.
add on there that you have the authority to sign, or do you have to, you need to sign those? That's the actual intergovernmental
Yeah, we'll amend,
agreement.
well, yeah, they've allowed, let's, we'll add on, I'll ask for an addition to the first motion to authorize me to sign such agreement. Is there a motion?
I move we amend it.
For a second?
Second.
Is that all yes?
Yes.
And I ask for the same motion to authorize, to give me authority to sign the intergovernmental agreement under the continuation of the West Hamlin flood management.
So moved.
Second.
Is that all yes?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And these agreements are based on a one-year period. And if any entity wants to leave the agreement after the 1 year, it has to be done, which it says that in this agreement.
It seems to me like it would be good if they will let us continue, because of the consistency
Yeah.
across the county.
Yeah. And both the city of West Hamlin and the city of Hamlin are going to adopt the same floodplain ordinance, assuming the county adopts the model ordinance tonight. And the second thing is, this will be the second reading of the new floodplain ordinance. Again, I'll go over the highlights, and we'll decide whether we want to adopt a new ordinance. As I've stated, FEMA is issuing new firm maps for Lincoln County. Again, there's not a whole lot of change in an AE zone. Some of the A zones, which are approximated zones, have increased in size. I don't foresee a problem, but, somewhere down the road, a homeowner may, once he goes to refinance his house or buy a house, it may be a problem then as far as the homeowner. And we had to have 2 readings. We had one the previous commission meeting, and this will be the second reading. Some of the highlights of the ordinance is all new construction, relocation, substantial improvement, including repair of substantial damage, now requires you to be 2 feet, the new ordinance will require you to be 2 feet above the base flood elevation. The previous ordinance, you had to be at or above the base flood elevation. And as I've stated, the reason this is a good idea, the base flood elevation is based on a certain storm event. You can have a greater storm event than the 100-year storm event. And this gives you a 2-foot freeboard that if you have a bigger storm event, you're above that level. And also, as far as insurance, if you're elevated above the base flood elevation a foot, 2 foot, you get a cheaper insurance rate. FEMA likes this in their ordinances too, because where they've paid out so much money through the years, they like a freeboard above the base flood elevation. Construction now, once you apply for a permit, you have 18 months to complete. Again, if I see that you're making progress, I can issue a waiver to extend that. Mobile homes placed in a special flood hazard area must be installed by a licensed home installer. Again, this was not in the old ordinance, but if you place a mobile home in a special flood hazard area, it has to be installed by FEMA regulations anyway, so you're going to have a licensed installer install it. And plus, if you pay someone to install your mobile home, regardless of where it's at, you have to have a licensed home installer to do that. Another thing that's in the new ordinance that's not in the old is a non-conversion agreement. If you build a house in a flood zone and you elevate your first floor above the base flood elevation, and there's room underneath that someday you can change that into living area, to get permission from floodplain manager, you have to sign a non-conversion agreement that will only be used as parking or for storage. You can't convert that to living area. In approximated A zones, as I've said before, the floodplain manager has broad powers in these zones. And some of the requirements in the new ordinance will be a setback of 50 feet from a stream or twice the width of that stream. That was not in the old ordinance. And in the new ordinance, in Article 7, Section 7.9, page 30, there's language in there that if the ordinance is adopted, that we can enter into agreement with AEP that until a building permit is granted and a certificate of compliance is issued, they will not install any temporary or permanent electrical service. And the reason I think this is a good idea, a lot of people, they start their construction or they're almost finished and then they realize they need a building permit. Well, if there's violations to the floodplain ordinance, it's too late. You've already, your house is pretty much constructed. This will give them, an individual and me, an opportunity to say, this is how you need to regulate, this is how you need to build as far as the floodplain ordinance. It just gives them an opportunity to get a building permit, and it gives me an opportunity, because I'm not out driving around the county and I don't know what's being constructed and what's not. This just gives me another way to know what's going on in the county as far as development. The new ordinance defined The old ordinance was $25, and no less than $25, no more than $300. The new ordinance would be no less than $50 and no more than $500. And the permit fee, as far as I know, will stay the same. Right now, it's $25 for the first 1,000 and $1 for each additional 1,000. Those are some of the highlights of the new ordinance versus the old ordinance. As I've stated, this is a model ordinance that the state recommends, and if the county does adopt that, this ordinance, I don't see any problem as far as the state okay and forwarding it on to FEMA and getting it okay from FEMA. And again, the new maps will be effective on October 16th of this year, and we need to have the ordinance in place and approved by the state and by FEMA by that date. So it's up to the commission whether you want to adopt the new ordinance.
Are we okay adopting it tonight? I see we've had this second reading.
Yeah.
Any questions from the commission? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the new ordinance as presented by Mr. Brown.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is that an all yes?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, what I'll do is,
And authorize the president to sign.
Yeah, and authorize me to sign this. We'll stick it on the end of that.
what I'll do after the signature's on there, I'll forward it on to the state, and they'll go from there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next was Maureen Haldren, regarding continuing to pay for county cleanup. She called me and said she couldn't make it this evening, but she just was gonna see if you were going to decide.